Greetings, Impeccable You. Leadership who finishes what they start. Leadership who commits to those difficult goals that everyone else shies away from. And leadership who does not fear failure. Welcome. I'm Marlene Foster with the Empower the Vision, and I'm going to talk with you today about how impeccable leadership empowers and protects the business. Now, think about those moments when you finish what you start. Now, you may be thinking about writing a book, or when you say thinking about writing it, you've either started writing it or you already start writing it and etching that content in your mind, because I've done it. I'm writing a book right now. Before I was started putting it down on paper, I started writing that book in my heart. I started writing that book, in my mind. It was already being, transposed right there in my mind, on my brain. So those of you who are looking at starting to do whatever you want to do within the business, if you're thinking about doing it, I'm saying to you today, don't just think about it. Let's start it and let's get going, okay? Now, what about those difficult goals? Goals that you thought about, dreams that you thought about pursuing. Again, we talked about writing a book, so time to become an author. If you've written one book, time to start on that second book. Write a series. Time to get started. If you're thinking about customers, and all of us think about our customers, right? Because you want to gain loyalty with customers. You want repeat business. And with our employees, you want employee retention. Think about self-worth. The self-worth, first of all, that you have for yourself, you as the leader, you can now transfer that self-worth to your employees. Start by exemplifying self-worth. Start by being respectful yourself. Self-care, let them see the kind of self-care that you have for you. And then transfer it over to your employees. Start training them, showing them that you do want them to matriculate, you want them to grow within the business. You want growth, right? Because one day you're thinking about either retirement or even leaving the business, and you need to know who's going to be left behind. So start thinking about that now. Those difficult goals that we have to think about right now are from start to finish. When you open the doors to your business every day, think about this is today's start, and you're also thinking about the finish of each day, correct? Because that leads to the vision. Each day are your what? Your mission. Your mission starts off the business, which leads to your vision. Your legacy, which you're creating every day. Your legacy is a part of you. It is your credibility, and that's what makes customers want to do business with you. They're looking at you. And last, fear. The fear of failure, the fear. Have you ever thought about how failure can actually entice, can actually propel you, can encourage you to want to do something even more? Now, I know that it has happened with me. The fear of it, the fear, like even at the Eleanor Roosevelt talked about, whatever you fear the most, she said, do it. If you fear something, let's do it. Say, okay, these are steps I'm going to take. Start with step one and don't think about, just decide to go ahead and do it, because you got the capability. You got the capability, or it wouldn't have come to you. It wouldn't be on your mind right now. So you get going, get started, and do it. I want to ask you to do this for me. At the end of today's session, if you're thinking about something, if you want to go back to the replay, write down something you've always thought about doing, something that has really been on your heart and on your mind. I'd like you to share with me the next time we meet next week. Share with me a goal that you feel that has been a difficult goal that you know that you want to do, and the fear that you felt about that goal. And now you're ready to do what? You want to finish now what you started. And that means finishing inside of your mind, inside of your brain, inside of your heart, which may not even be on paper yet. Now, I want to tell you that I like to start off with a female who did finish what she started. She committed to those difficult goals and she did not feel failure. Okay, I want to talk to you about Betsy Coleman. Betsy Coleman was a black pilot, ladies and gentlemen, a black pilot that I communicate with because I can really relate to her because she grew up. I believe it was St. Louis. I'm just right now trying to think of where she grew up, but I did know that she relocated to Chicago, the South Side of Chicago, where I'm from. Her brothers lived in Chicago, so they invited her to come and live with them. Her brothers were in the military. And while they fought over in France, they came back and they kind of jucked and jived with her because they knew that she had a deep interest in flying. And they told her that too bad you can't fly over here in America. But because the women over in France, they are flying over there. They're Bessie, they're free to fly. I mean, they've got their licenses, all that. Too bad you're not there and you can't fly here. So you know what Betsy did? You know about Betsy Coleman's history. You know that she went to Paris, France. She finished what she started. Her vision, her goal, her dream was to become a pilot, and she did it. She finished it. During that Jim Crow era when women of color, women, period, were not allowed to become pilots. She did it though. She accomplished a difficult goal, a very difficult one. She became an international pilot. International. Once she acquired her license in France, and I'm gonna tell you this, before she even took the pilot, got her pilot's license, she had to learn to speak French. So she learned, you see the different hurdles that she jumped to acquire what she wanted. That goal was not too difficult for her, and she didn't let fear stand in the way. But after she did get her license, she came back to the United States and she put on all types of shows that people came to see. She was phenomenal. And she said the greatest freedom for her of all time was to be in the air flying. And you know what that means? That says to me that she's telling us her greatest freedom of all was to what? Accomplish a goal. She accomplished. Hello, Jackie. Welcome. Greetings to you. But her greatest goal, she accomplished it. She accomplished that goal of becoming what she wanted. And she didn't let anyone stand in her way because let me say this to you. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be dreams that you come up with that you want to pursue that no one else has done before or someone other people will see as unforeseeable. But doesn't mean you can't accomplish it. Go for it anyway. Do it. I'm just telling you today, finish what you start. Finish what's in your heart. If it's in your heart, finish it. If you've been writing this down as goals, then finish it. I want to say to you, your business plan, take your business plan and start using it. Do a quarterly. Do something quarterly with your business plan. Write down those goals. Write them down every quarter. And then at the end of the quarter, look at what you've accomplished. Look at what you've learned from it. And then look at what you can now create from what you've done. Use that business plan, guys. Don't let it just sit on the shelf. Create it. Let it sit there. Create it. And if you're looking to also add an exit strategy to it, reach out to me and I'll help you do that. We'll create an exit strategy inside of your business plan. Okay? All right, Jackie. Great seeing you. Now, when you think about what Betsy Coleman did, I think about her a lot when I think about my own goals, my own challenges. I think about her. And one person who I really think the world of is Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall is one icon, guys, that I thought a lot of because I've always had an interest in law, pursuing law. And so I read about him and I read about how he pursued Brown versus Board of Education so that he could make it freedom, give freedom for anyone who wanted to pursue an education in any school that they wanted to. They decide where they wanted to go. The freedom, guys, and that was also during the Jim Crow era. So you know that he was threatened. There were threats that he received, but he finished what he started. He was a civil rights attorney. And not only did he help African Americans, he helped anyone. Thurgood Marshall helped people who felt that their civil rights were being violated. He was there for them. It didn't matter the color of your skin. That's what I love about him. He showed right there that it's not about the culture, but it's about the freedom. And that's what he did. He helped individuals to establish freedom. And let me tell you this, Thurgood Marshall had a legal defense fund. It was a legal defense fund that he had. And I was getting ready to start law school. And so I needed funding. And so I went and I applied. Man, he had thousands, probably millions of people who applied for these scholarships. And so you're not going to believe what happened to me. The president of that fund visited Memphis, came here for a conference. And I said to myself, what? I have got to attend that conference. So I did. I went to the conference, listened to her. She gave great advice about law, just law in general. And she said, and we've got, some scholarships that we're accepting right now. She spoke, briefly on that. And so I stood back there and I watched everybody in the conference just gather around the stage. They all gathered around her. And they were asking questions, and one person speaking over the other person. I mean, everybody was just eager to speak with her, right? So there I was. And all of a sudden, guys, it hit me. Walk up there and speak to her. So I did. I finished what I started, first of all, by going up to the stage and didn't know what the outcome would be. Uncertainty. Let's not be afraid of uncertainty, okay? Because if we were afraid of uncertainty, we'll never accomplish anything, right? And if you succeed in everything, you'll never accomplish. Because when you fail, you learn a better way, a better lesson. There'll be a better strategy that comes to you now. You said, I failed from this particular time, and this is what I think I'll do the next time, which will make it even more powerful. So that's how businesses empower, how leadership empower their businesses with failure. So anyway, I walked up to the stage, guys. I mean, I was really thin then. I was just really slender. And so slithered up to the stage and I stood there and I'm listening to the questions, right? So she received a telephone call. She walked off and she received the call. She came back, and as soon as she came back, I raised my hand and said, hello, because I was Marlene Hall at the time. Hello, Marlene Hall. And I'd like to ask you about the Legal Defense Fund. I'm an applicant, and I want to know from you, what is the criteria? What are you looking for? Tell me what you're looking for from each applicant. She turned around, she's spun around real quick and just walked to the edge of the stage. I'm down low and she's up on top of the stage. She looked down at me and said, what asset do you feel you have that could be a benefit to us? I exhaled and I said to her, because of the length of time that I have followed Thurgood Marshall's career, he's always been a great mentor for me. I've never met him. I said, but I feel as if I have. And I want to talk about some of his, the ambitious things that he's done. Brown versus Board of Education. And I just mentioned a few, different things that he's done in his career. And now then he become the first African American Supreme Court justice. And so I said, I'm proud of him, and I know that I can also follow in his footsteps. She said, you know what? She went back to her chair, grabbed a business card, came down from the stage, put the card in my hand and said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this immediately. When you leave here, she said, go write down the response to the question that I just asked you, fax it to this number, fax it here. She said, and she just squeezed my hand and said, and I am wishing you the very best. And everybody in the audience just applauded, just clapped, and were just gracious and supportive. And people were just patting me all on the arm, on the back. And so I'm telling you, I was walking out of that room quickly. So look at me and what happened in that particular instance. You what? You finish what you start. I did finish what I started. I went up to that room. I wanted to meet her. That was a difficult goal. Look at all the people who were at the stage. But I made it up there, and I still, at the end, I finished. Fear was there with me. Fear was right on my right arm. But you know what? I didn't let fear drag me back. Though I decided I was going to go up to this stage and meet her, and I did. Now, while in law school, Chancery Court was looking to hire a law clerk. And honestly, I didn't know what my chances would be of getting it. I had worked with a few law firms, so I knew about the terminology. I knew what it felt just to work in the court system, because I've gone to court plenty of times with those attorneys. So one of the attorneys said, Marlene, you should go and apply and see what happens. Yeah, I went, I applied, and the chancellor chose me. Again, finish what you start. I had thought about it, spoke, about it with some of the attorneys I worked with, spoke with them, and went and applied. This was an extraordinarily difficult goal that I chose. Very difficult. Extremely difficult, guys. There were a lot of people who were lined up to meet Chancellor. And somehow, some way, he chose me. And fear again was there, but I didn't let fear stop me. Now, when I started working for him, you know what I'm really, really gracious about, and I'm so proud of, is that when I look in law books here in Memphis, my writing's in there. My writing is in the law book because I helped to write law here in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm there in the law book. And I said, wow. And and I started, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know. I had to learn from him. There I was, but from the start, the most difficult goals again were because I had to stay. Sometimes I was at nighttime hours. And you know how difficult it is to be downtown, in a downtown city. And you know how people are walking. There are a lot of people walking in the streets, and there are a lot of people who are looking for crime. But sometimes I was there at the legal library until midnight. Like, guys, getting things on track and getting things ready for the next day for the chancellor. You start what you finish. You've got to start it. You've got to finish whatever you start. You finish it. And what I did that each day, guys, was I started working and finish. And at the end of the day, I did. If it took until the evening hour, I stayed. I stayed there. And I finished. And I'm proud today to say to you, and I know there are a lot of you out there who are impeccable leaders. Be proud of yourselves, because there I was with the chancellor in the court. Guys, I got so much experience with divorces, with some of the most incredible cases you would not believe, because there was one case of a gentleman who pursued a woman who went to his church. He's pursued. I'm giving you some overview, no names. But pursue. And then we were in the courtroom, and it was actually so humorous until all the attorneys from the other districts, they would come over and just sit. They would find out, look at the docket to find out when he would be actually in the courtroom and he would be ready to testify that particular day. They would, or the date that was scheduled, they would come over and sit because it was so comical the way he would just say that this woman was made for him and God had made her for him. And we had to sit there and listen to this man. And he was so, you could tell that there was something intelligent about him, but he was still comical at the same time. So I'm saying to you that being in that court environment, I picked up so many qualities there. It was entertaining. The tears were in my eyes for children because a lot of parents came in to surrender their rights to their children. Guys, I saw it all. But that's how it is. When you look at your business, in your business as an impeccable leader, you will what? You finish what you start, right? So whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, write it down because you already thought about it. You thought about it. Reach out and get feedback on it from those who are in the business with you. Empower your business by doing what? Empowering one another. Empower the employees, empower the customers. How? When you go and you're meeting with them on a regular basis, find out what their needs are. Find out what they feel could be different about what you're offering. Find out, everyone, and from there you'll learn how each individual is different, right? And happy Thursday to you, Doctor. I'm looking at everybody here. I'm so happy to see all of you. Happy Thursday. It's really nice to see you. But guys, you can empower your business by empowering one another. So that means that if you're in a business and you can start looking at succession plans, start looking at a succession plan because that plan will then help your employees to start doing what? Growing and becoming, and now they're growing. And as they grow, they'll start to do what? Invite and pull other employees along with them. So if someone becomes ill, somebody on the executive role is ill, guys, or if somebody has a long-term disability, if someone dies, you have now set the pace where there's now someone who can take their shoes, someone who can walk up and step in, and now they're growing. The business continues to grow. And then if maybe one day you decide you want to take more of a break, away from business. I'm going to talk to you more about this at a later time. I want to talk to you about how you can build your business, build it, make it so independent and they interdependent within the business, depending on one another, that you're able to step aside, guys, because the business is taken off and it's so strong. And what you're doing by allowing your employees, your staff to step up and take the reins and move forward, you're allowing them to one day possibly be the ones to do what? When you decide to truly exit the business, you got people who are ready to take control. And when I talk about exit strategies, I'm not talking about just leaving the business. Before you exit, as a startup business owner needs an exit strategy day one. You say, well, why, Marlene? Why? Because that empowers. You can empower your business with an exit strategy because you may plan every year, which you should. With your retirement, you want your retirement to be, right? So I want my retirement to be X amount of dollars in 1 year. I like it to be this amount in 5 years. What if though something happens? What if? What if there's a disability that occurs? What are you going to do then? What's going to happen to the employees? What's going to happen to your customers? Think about, it's not just about you, it's about the whole team. Think about that. So exit Start planning something now that will help you to one day be able to say, I'm about to leave now. And I feel good that I did create this exit strategy because from 30 years ago, I set one up in place. And now look at how Cynthia has grown. Look at how everybody has grown here. They're growing. And growth brings empowerment. And that's how you empower the business with an exit strategy. Start to finish. Start off with the strategy that shows what you want in place for retirement or whatever you want in place for you. And also start off thinking about what you want in place for your staff. What do you want in place for the customers? You got to start off somewhere so you can continue to grow. Because when you look at the strategy you have in place for your customers, you need diversity. Why? Never, ever, 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 ever put all your eggs in what? In one basket. What happens on the stock market, guys? When you put all your eggs in one basket, what happens? When that stock dives or that stock, something else happens where it can never resurrect itself, what's going to happen to you? Think about that. Continue again. Finish what you start. And you do that by first having a diversity. I'm not saying just be all over the place, because look at me. For instance, exit strategy is what I do, correct? I help businesses to create exit strategies that will complement employee retention, that will complement estate planning for the family, that will help with, again, the customers and with employees as well. And also with community awareness. In order to create greater credibility within your business, to empower the business even more, you need to be thinking about, how can I create something within my community that empowers? If it's in education, if it's in those people who are dealing with homelessness, you've got to think of something that you and the business can do. Your customers will admire seeing you. They'll admire seeing what you do within your business. They'll admire, they will admire you. And I wanted to, again, but I just want to just thank all of you, Regina, and I was a Dr. Nihu, and all of you. Thank you so very much, for being here today. And I just want you, the next time, even over the once this is done, if you want to, in the comment section, write down something that you've always thought about, and that you're going to now take off with. Say, Marlene, I thought about something. You put this on my heart, on my mind, and it's there now. Tell me that if you feel like you want to do, just privately reach out to me. But I'd like to hear from you. Anybody who even watches the replay today, whenever you watch the replay, tell me what it is that you are looking at doing. It's got to be. I want it to be so challenging, and I want you to almost feel the fear. Fear, guys, because that lets me know that's something that's going to be really powerful. That's how you empower yourself, and you're going to empower others, because when others see what you are doing, you're going to exemplify courageousness. You will exemplify bravery. Let them see you. Let them see you doing something that they never thought you'd do, or something that they thought would be the impossibility. Something that everybody's saying it's impossible. You can't accomplish that. So you, number one, finish what you start, right? Be committed to those most difficult goals and challenges, those missions that build your vision. Commit to that. And last, don't fear failure. Learn from it. Learn from it. And from there, because all of us have to fail, right? Because when you do, it makes you even more powerful. So look forward to failure. You failed at something, you said, okay, I know now this is the best way to do it. Failure helps us, guys. Failure does. And you know right now, in your heart, in your soul, what it is that you've been thinking about doing. It's something right now that you can't wait. You've been thinking. It's attached to to even your dream. You haven't even approached doing it, or you've started to try to do it. And if you have, now it's time to reinvent, recreate, do whatever it takes to become that impeccable you. And I want to just thank all of you today. Thank you so very much for being here and looking forward to hearing from you. I want to hear about you and your goals and how you plan to create success for you and for your business. Thank you.